Welcome to the IT Smart Guy podcast, a technology podcast aimed at the modern business owner. And here's your host, Tony Edwards. Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the IT Smart Guy podcast, the tech-based podcast for the modern business owner. My name's Tony, and today I'm going to be talking about drones being used for tracing power outages in the southeast, and a scam that is doing the rounds targeting people who play Scrabble online. We will then go on to the brain dump, and I'm going to talk about a challenge you may face in your business if you have people that work for you, whether they're outsourced or employed. And as always, we'll have a tip of the episode. So how about we jump straight into the news? Let's look at what's happening in the news. Drone technology is undergoing trials to expedite power cut repairs in rural areas of the southeast of the UK. Engineers from UK Power Networks are experimenting with the capability of high-quality video images captured by drones to precisely identify damage. The operator hails this technology as a powerful tool that will accelerate the detection of power cut causes, resulting in shorter blackouts and enhanced safety during repair operations. Now, the trial spans various locations throughout Kent, Sussex and Essex. And in the face of a typical high voltage fault affecting 100 properties, engineers would traditionally undertake extensive foot patrols to locate the fault. However, drones provide a swift aerial perspective with images then accessible on site via laptops or tablets. The leading electrical engineer in the trial has highlighted the challenges faced by traditional line patrols, such as navigating obstacles like hedges, wire fences, fallen branches or uneven ground, whereas drones are offering a more effective solution, reducing time for inspection. He also went on to explain that walking 1 kilometre of line could take between 10 minutes to an hour, while a drone can cover the same distance far more quickly, mitigating the risk of slips, trips and falls, especially within rural terrain. UK Power Networks estimate that the deployment of drones will cut restoration time by an average of about 30 minutes. And as the operator oversees the cables and substations delivering electricity to over 8.5 million homes and businesses in London, the South East and East of England, serving around 20 million people, they acknowledge that foot patrols will remain essential in adverse weather conditions or low light situations. Meanwhile, helicopters will continue covering longer distances more rapidly. Now, there are a number of benefits to this trial. The trial promises to significantly enhance the efficiency of power cut repairs in rural areas. By employing these high-quality video images captured by the drones, engineers can precisely pinpoint where the damage is, eliminating the need for extensive foot patrols beneath overhead electricity cables. The introduction of drones in power cut repair operations brings about a notable improvement in safety. More traditional methods involving engineers walking the entire length of electricity cables, essentially exposing them to various hazards, is gone, because drones will offer a safer alternative, flying overhead and reducing the physical risks associated with on-site inspection. Again, perfect for rural areas because, let's face it, in more rural areas, the terrain is more challenging. And the use of this drone technology is poised to cut down restoration times by an estimated average of 30 minutes. This reduction in downtime has the potential to see residents and businesses in the affected regions expecting quicker resolutions to power issues, ultimately minimising disruptions and inconveniences in their daily lives. What else do you think drones could be used for? Let me know. Let's move on to Scrabble. So police have reported that an 83-year-old woman in Oldham has been swindled out of £20,000 by a romance scammer she encountered while playing Scrabble online. The fraudster, posing as a 60-year-old American millionaire widower, deceived the victim with promises of a visit to the UK for a second chance at love following the death of her husband a few years earlier. Greater Manchester Police shared her story as a cautionary tale about romance scams. Over an 18-month period, starting back in 2022, the scammer established a connection with the pensioner through the word game. Subsequently, he suggested moving to an external chat platform, initiating a series of requests for money. The victim, unbeknownst to the scam, sent around 20,000 before suspicions arose. She eventually confided in her brother, who reported the matter to Action Fraud based on advice from Greater Manchester Police. The conman employed various emotional ploys, such as claiming his daughter needed urgent surgery and that he had faced arrest in Turkey upon returning from a business trip. Now, in one instance, the fraudster even fabricated a letter claiming to be from the United Nations, claiming he was a prisoner. The woman's brother, now holding power of attorney, is aiding her in investigating suspicious transactions. He has emphasised the scammer's deliberate targeting of Scrabble Online, identifying it as a place and a space where they can exploit older women with financial resource. Expressing anger at the deliberate exploitation of an elderly and vulnerable individual, he hopes that by sharing the story, it can protect potential victims. Detective Sergeant Shannon from GMP's Economic Crime Unit noted the unfortunate prevalence of such cases and expressed hope that the woman's experience would raise awareness among potential victims and prompting them to report similar incidents. The identities of the scammers remain undisclosed as this investigation continues. Right, you need to do your utmost to stay safe when using online services. As humans, we want to believe in our fellow man, and I hate to say it, but there are some horrible bastards out there. So if you're going online, whether it's gaming or even things like Facebook, I want you to remember these three things. Stay safe by refraining from sharing sensitive details. That could be your address, your phone number, or financial information while doing anything online. That's going to protect you from potential identity theft or scam. You want to ensure online gaming safety by making sure your passwords are robust and unique for each gaming account, thus minimizing the risk of unauthorized access and safeguarding your data again. And exercise caution when you're interacting with unknown players online. Avoid sharing too many personal details and be mindful of these types of scams or deceitful activities that may compromise not only your safety, but your security too. Now, are those three things going to keep you completely safe? No, but it is a start. Typically, common sense will prevail. That's it for the news. Let's move on to the brain dump. It's time for the brain dump. So, for the brain dump this time, I'm going to be talking about something that isn't tech-based. What? I know. There's a reason for that. I work for myself. I run my business and I do 95% of everything. That's why my CEO title that you'll see on social media doesn't stand for Chief Executive Officer. It stands for Chief Everything Officer. When people see it, they laugh. It's different and it kind of stands out. But it's not entirely accurate anymore because I don't do everything. At least I hope I don't. So in the dynamic landscape of business leadership, there are two approaches that vie for supremacy. You've got trust and you've got micromanagement. Now, as entrepreneurs and business owners navigate their way through the intricacies of managing teams, finding the right balance between those two poles is critical. So today I'm going to look into the nuances of both trust-based leadership and the pitfalls of micromanagement, thus shedding some light on how each approach can impact business success. So we're going to start with micromanagement, which is often characterized by excessive control and scrutiny, and it can be detrimental to morale and productivity. So here are a few key aspects I want you to consider with your staff or your outsourced people. When we micromanage, we inadvertently stifle creativity and autonomy. Your teams will feel suffocated, unable to make decisions or take ownership for their tasks. The result? The workforce kind of operates in fear rather than empowerment. Micromanagement discourages risk-taking and experimentation. And in an environment where every move is scrutinised, employees hesitate to propose new ideas or challenge the status quo, meaning that innovation can suffer as a consequence. Typically, leaders who micromanage spend excessive time monitoring minute details, diverting their focus away from strategic planning and higher level responsibilities, hampering organisational growth. And for the constant surveillance and nitpicking creates stress and anxiety amongst your team, meaning burnout could become a real concern, leading to decreased job satisfaction and an increased staff turnover. But on the other end of the spectrum lies that trust-based leadership, which is there to foster a culture of empowerment, collaboration, and growth. And it matters because it will empower your team. Trusting employees to execute their task independently empowers them. When leaders provide clear expectations and then step back, team members should thrive. They feel valued and capable, leading to higher engagement. And you'll find that with that trust, it encourages risk-taking and innovation. Employees are more likely to propose novel solutions when they know their ideas won't be stifled. Culture of trust breeds creativity and adaptability. Trust-based leaders delegate. They invest time up front to ensure team members understand their roles and responsibilities. And this clarity allows for quicker decision-making and better execution. And ultimately, it builds loyalty. Employees who feel trusted are more likely to stay with the organisation, meaning reduced turnover, saving on recruitment costs, and maintains your institutional knowledge. As business owners, we should be trying to strike a balance. But how can we find the sweet spot between trust and micromanagement? Believe me, it's really, really difficult. But here are some potential strategies you could try. You want to recognise that every person is unique. Some people will thrive with minimal oversight, while others need more guidance. Tailor your leadership style accordingly. Invest time up front to set those expectations. Define role, responsibility, and performance metrics. Because when everybody knows what's expected, trust will flourish. And shift from execution to influence. So rather than micromanaging tasks, focus on the outcome. Provide support, resource, and encouragement, and let the results speak for themselves. And by doing that, you can hold employees accountable without stifling their autonomy. Holding them to account will build trust, while the control element of micromanagement erodes it. So in the ever-changing business landscape, leaders have to recognise that trust is indispensable. Striking the right balance of trust and micromanagement will foster a thriving, innovative, and loyal workforce. And I found this saying online, but it kind of fits, Trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. So let us build businesses where trust flourishes and micromanagement takes a back seat. So how does all of that relate to what I said at the very start? Simple. My wife asks me for help with things to do for the business. She helps me. I turn into that micromanager. Probably worse, I take over, diminishing any sort of trust. I know she's great at what she does. I need to learn to let go of everything and let her do her thing. So I'm being a little bit naughty today, and I'm taking this opportunity to apologise to her on the podcast for the whole world to hear, because I did upset her the other day. And I know she does listen to the show most of the time. So I am sorry. Can't guarantee it won't happen again, but I'll try and use the strategies from this episode to recognise it before I take over. Please keep doing the number stuff for me, because you are awesome at it. That's all for the brain dump today. Let's move on to the tip of the episode. Our tip of the episode. So for the tip this time round, I want you to grab a pen and some paper, or a pen on a whiteboard, or even an iPad. Basically, I want you to make a list. What functions in your business could you outsource? Now, there will be loads. All the different aspects of marketing, web design, tech support, finance, admin, sales, debt collection. Then I want you to look at the list and rank them by their importance and how important these roles are to your business, but also how important they are to you that they are done by someone in-house. I then want you to put a monthly price against that job role. How much you think it should cost to have that person in your business full time? What would their salary be? For an example, an average web developer, you're looking around 30k a year, so that's about £2,500 a month. Once you have all those costs, add them up. You'll be surprised at how much those jobs cost in just salary. So I've not gone into things like tax, pension, training, etc., etc. But now you can see roughly how much these jobs would cost. Now I want you to rank them again. I bet some of those jobs being held in-house have changed. And if none of them have, I think you're lying to yourself. Outsourcing will give you access to experience and expertise for a fraction of what you pay a full-time employee. And for the most part, you get them cheaper because you don't need them for 40 hours a week. You use them when you need them. I did this exercise at the end of 2023. I wanted to refresh the website for my business. I could have done it myself. The first website I built myself would have cost me a lot less money, but a truckload more time. And it probably wouldn't be ready for months. So by outsourcing it to people I trust, I got the site refresh done within a few weeks. And while there's still a few bits to be tweaked because the website's never finished, the hard yards have been done. And I'm potentially going to do the same with some other services as well this year. Why bog myself down with tasks that I have to do, but I don't like doing, when I could get someone else to do it for me for less than hiring someone full time? Think about it. So that's it. Here we are once again at the end of another episode of the IT Smart Guy podcast. Thank you so much for watching or for listening. I truly hope that you found this episode useful, insightful, knowledgeable, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next episode. As always, I do have that one small favour to ask. If you have enjoyed the episode, do you know what? Even if you haven't, let me know. Leave a comment or a review on your platform of choice, because it's the only way I can get better. Also, if you've got ideas for topics you want covering, leave those there as well. And if you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. I've been Tony, the IT Smart Guy, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the IT Smart Guy podcast. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please do consider to like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice.